every Monday, we are joined by the one and only Cameron Smith, who is joining us from the Gold Coast studio looking chipper. Cameron, welcome to the show. Looking better than my co-host, James Magnuson, knocked out in Dancing with the Stars, and I know you want to extend your heartfelt
commiserations, James. Commiserations. It was you did a great job getting as far as you did, but unfortunately,
could you see that in your future, Cam?
He hasn't seen
Absolutely not. No. I haven't got 1 ounce of dancing bone in my body. No. But well done, mate.
Would you do Survivor or SAS or any of the...
Mate, I love Survivor.
Yeah.
Huge fan of Survivor. Huge fan of Survivor. Our whole family get right into Survivor. It's great.
All right, producers, reach out.
Oh, please.
So
no, please, don't do that.
Survivor clickbait headline.
I love watching.
I'm
a fan.
Would the fallback be Lego Masters, Cam? If that's
I don't think so, mate. No.
No. Now, Cameron, you're learning the media. You're working with trained professionals there at the Nine Network. You're working here at SEN.
Mm-hmm.
Give ourselves a rap. People like Fletch.
Well, we are best in the business, Vossy.
Thorough professionals. Yes, that's it. You work with the Fat.
Yes.
The Fat Man. Has the Fat Man been a great guidance to you in your media career so far?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I try and base my my work off Fatty. He's outstanding. He's been in the game for a long, long time, as you know, Vossy.
That's right.
Complete professional. Up to date with all the news and studies and has everything covered coming into game day. I
was at Nine for, 17, 18 years, and Fat's research was the thing that shone through. Research. And when you've done all the research, do more research. Research, preparation, research. Hard to believe this happened yesterday on Nine in the build-up to Panthers and Dolphins. Paul Vautin interviewing the great Wayne Bennett.
Do you have a plan for Nathan Cleary? You don't worry about it, just a general plan?
He's not playing.
He's not playing. Thanks, Wayne.
Oh, the Fat. Only the Fat, Cameron. Only the Fat.
So
Wayne Bennett of all people. Of all people.
So with the players not doing interviews at the moment, so Fat's been given the role to interview Wayne, and it's an extended interview, so it's awkward at the best of times, isn't it? Interviewing Wayne, he doesn't give you a whole heap.
Yeah.
So he's been told, look, mate, you've got 3 minutes, and he's going, oh god. Anyway, so I've done my little piece in the pre-game show, and I've got my earpiece in still, and I'm walking across Dolphin Oval, and I can hear the interview happening live. And I heard that question pop up, and I almost fell over in tears in the middle of Dolphin Oval when he asked that question. I was like, no, Fatty, no, he's not even playing. But it was so good. It was so good. That went live to air, and just the social media pages just lit up as soon as it finished. One of the best. One of his best.
Wayne didn't exactly help him there, did he? He could have said, we plan a little bit, but he just dropped it in it straight away.
And the fat little sheepish looked at Cameron. Golden moment.
I tell you what,
great man.
Vossy and Jimmy, he jokes about it afterwards, just saying, "Oh, look, I'm trying to get myself off air. I'm trying to get myself off air." But it's not the case at all. He's just out there having fun.
Oh, it has happened before. And then could we play? Lieutenant Dan, your job in this first segment is to dig out the Fatty with David Morrow all those years ago, where Fatty was a rookie on the ABC, live on air. I think it was at the SCG, was it not? It might have been the SCG, a game, and the Fat sitting up there.
I think it might have been the footy stadium, Vossy. It might have been at the footy stadium.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But again, preparation, know what I'm going to say, live on camera, gonna nail it. And the smother from David Morrow was one of the more bizarre, awkward smothers I think we've ever had. Lieutenant Dan, are we a chance to play that magical moment?
We've got Charlie Goodsir onto it, so guaranteed.
Oh, Charlie Goodsir. We've got
guaranteed.
Our best man.
Should be ready by Thursday then.
Away, so. Okay. For the captain's run, you can run it on the captain's run. Well, it was good telling the story. Where do you want to go, James, with Cameron Smith? What question would you like to ask Cameron from the weekend?
I think we start with Reagan Campbell Gillard, Cam. Saw those knees into the back.
Yeah.
What do you think the punishment should be there? I'm thinking 2 to 3 weeks. Some of our listeners think harsher, 4 to 5. Where do you think it lands?
Well, I'm not sure. Like, we're waiting for the charge to come out a little bit later today, but it was an awkward one, wasn't it? Because it looked like, he didn't. There was no attempt of any sort of hands or anything like that, and it was clearly just a player laying on the ground. He could have easily just come in and just, sort of jumped on him or used his shoulder at least, or some sort of hands. But man, I'm not sure which way they'll go with this one, because it's something that we don't see a lot of. We don't generally
That's
see
right,
sort of
that's right.
knees
Don't
being
see it.
it's
Not
sort
that
of
blatant.
no, and any time and the times that we do see it, it's usually when fullbacks are flying across the try line, maybe trying to save a try or whatever, and they sort of go feet or legs first. But that's what I mean by a little bit awkward. It's something that we don't see a lot of, but I'm not sure where it actually lands as far as a charge or a punishment.
You go back and watch, old Great Britain Australia Test 1970s, Cameron, and that's where it's from. That's where it would come, because you're right. The only knees that we see these days are in try-scoring situations or desperate defence on a goal line.
Yeah,
this is middle of the field, regulation tackle. That's why it was so out of the blue.
Yeah,
and in commentary, Cameron, the more I watched it, the worse it looked.
Yeah,
it wasn't a matter of slowing it down. You just thought, well, hang on a second.
Yeah,
because you haven't seen it happen frequently.
Yeah.
I just came around to the thought, I think he should have been sent off.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's more than sin bin. It's something that, I think it needed the ultimate penalty on field.
Yeah. And that's the hardest thing about that incident, Vossy, was that it's so out of the norm. It was just a general play tackle. There was no sort of desperation to try and stop a try or save a try or whatever it was. It was just a regulation tackle in the middle of the field. So I think probably the officials were caught off guard as well. 10 minutes in the bin, that's a fairly harsh punishment in itself. Having a player down for 10 minutes, with Reggie being off the field. But I think the MRC, they'll look over it pretty closely. They'll look over it thoroughly and they'll deal with it the way they need to.
James, I wonder whether the referee would have sent him off. But the fact is, Sivo's already in the bin. So he's already got Parramatta down to 12.
Yeah.
Is he back up with a send-off or a sit? Look, I can only wonder about that.
Yeah.
Who would know?
Oh, look, yeah.
But would that be an influencing factor on the ref?
I don't think so. I don't think they take that into account. I don't think they think, well, we don't want to disadvantage this side even further by sending a player off. They've already got one in the bin. I think if the incident or the foul play deserves a send off, I think they would send them off. I think everyone was caught off guard by what had happened, and it would have had to have been just a bit of a brain fade, surely, by Reagan Campbell Gillard. Because, there was just no attempt to put any hands or shoulder or arms into the tackle. He just collapsed on top of the player. It was crazy.
Yeah. All right, now let's break back to our first topic, Paul Vautin. I hope he's listening up there on the Gold Coast this morning. This was early doors. Okay, this is the early in the media career. He's live on TV on the ABC of all places. And in the preview of the game with David Morrow, let's relive that moment.
It seemed to me that every game was a stronger game than perhaps some of the games in the southern part.
Yeah, well, you'll see that the top three teams that finished there were Canterbury, Cronulla and...
We're not quite sure what's happening here. We've got some communication problems.
He dropped the F-bomb.
Some communication problems. One of his best. How far back was that, Vossy? Was that 91 maybe?
Wow. Now you're going back. We're talking ABC, so...
91 would have been 91. He was still playing, Fatty?
It's still while Fat's playing. I think it's more 80s. I think it might be more late 80s.
Wow.
88.
Okay.
88.
Oh, right.
So 35 years on, Fat has another moment.
He's still going strong, Fatty.
He's still got it.
His voice has changed a bit over the years too, hasn't it? He's got a deeper tone to his voice now. He sounded a little high pitched there.
Well, we better play it back then. Let's play it again, Fat. Let's judge it. The Fat.
It seemed to me that every game was a stronger game than perhaps some of the games in the southern part.
Yeah, well, you'll see that the top three teams that finished there were Canterbury, Cronulla, and.
We're not quite sure what's happening here. We've got some communication problems.
Text here. At least the Fat didn't ask Wayne if he thought his Broncos could beat the Panthers. That's true. He knew who Bennett was coaching, so there we go. Listeners showing some great support for the Fat. Out of the weekend, James, you are sticking. Are you saying more than the 9 can make the 8? We've got a clear-cut top 9 at the moment, with a 3-point break from Cowboys in 9th down to the Knights, Sea Eagles. Have you got more than 9?
Yeah,
James,
well, look, Dolphins are on 8 wins, so I don't think you can put a line through them yet. Obviously, Cowboys still in the hunt. Like Manly or Titans could make a run at it. Not likely, but they could. So potentially 10 or 11, Vossy.
Okay, what about you, Cameron? We have a top 9. Here it is again. Panthers, Broncos, Storm, Raiders, clear-cut top 4. Then Warriors, Sharks on 26. Eels, Rabbitohs, Cowboys 24. That takes us down to 9th.
Yep.
Then the 3-point break to the Knights and Sea Eagles, and all on 20, the Titans, Dolphins, Roosters. Can any of those sides outside the top 9, are you really confident, bullish about their chances right now?
Look, not really. I think you'd have to look at the extended draw of those footy sides, particularly Newcastle, Manly, Gold Coast. I think the Gold Coast have got a fairly solid
5 home games. Yeah, 5 home games.
Yeah,
Gold Coast in
finish.
the
So they're playing at home, but I think they're playing against some quality opposition during that time as well, Vossy. I think the Dolphins are just going to miss out. I think they may finish about 10th. So out of those teams, I think it's out of the top 9. Really, unless one of sort of Newcastle and Manly really go on a hot streak over the next month, I think it's out of the top 9 at the moment, and maybe those positions change a fair bit. They swap and change within that top 8.
All right, I'm going to put you both on the spot then, James. So who out of the 9, if it was out of the 9, which team drops out of the 9? Well, how does the 9 become 8? With the Cowboys on the surge, there's no doubt about
big
that.
time.
Like I've almost got the Cowboys' certainty to make the 8. So they're the team out at the moment. So I got them in.
Well,
so who misses out?
I'll start off. Unless the Sharks learn how to start beating the quality sides, Vossy, I think they're a chance of missing out. So they've got Manly. They just copped a severe loss on the weekend against the Warriors. They've got an opportunity this week coming up at home against Manly, but then they go on a run. They play Penrith, they play the Rabbitohs, Titans, but they finish in their last 3 weeks. They've got the Cowboys away, and they finish with the Raiders. So they haven't got great results against these top 8 footy sides. They've done really well against the bottom 8, but they've struggled. So unless they can start winning some of these games against quality opposition, they may find themselves dropping out. They've dropped now to 6th. Is that right? They're 6th after the weekend's footy.
Yep.
That's it.
So and they're one side. They've used up all their buys. So from here on out, they are week on week playing footy. So particularly if they pick up a couple of injuries to some key players, they might be on a slippery slope.
Lord of the Dance, James. Who do you have?
Agree, yeah. So you got Sharks, Eels, Rabbitohs and Cowboys all on 10 wins. Sharks the only one of those 4 teams who have had the 3 buys. I'm with Cam. As you look ahead to their draw, they've got a bunch of top 8 teams still to play this season. They haven't beat a top 8 team yet. So that suggests that the Sharks are the team to make way for the Cowboys.
This one, good morning, Vossy, James and Cameron. How good was Dylan Edwards kicking 2 goals under pressure? Is there anything the man can't do from Nizam there? Yeah, Penrith. Look, Cameron, you played with a club that had this great, next man up culture about Melbourne, players out, players come in, still play the Melbourne way. Penrith have nailed it now. Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah,
All their Origin players out. Nathan Cleary. And there's senior players that are left there do an incredibly good job. Edwards, obviously, close to the top of that list.
Oh, they were fantastic yesterday, and they turned up against a side that were very committed. They've been committed all year, the Dolphins. There's only been a couple of losses that they've copped this year where they really weren't in the game. Every other match that they have been beaten, they've played out the 80 minutes and they've made the opposition go all the way and actually force them to play well and beat them, like they did to Penrith yesterday. But guys like Dylan Edwards, Jerome Luai, they just did a fantastic job yesterday, just to keep everyone calm. They actually lost the lead in the second half, and it looked like a bit of a sort of unlikely victory coming for the Dolphins. But they stayed calm. They backed their game plan. They backed their fitness. They are so fit. Like you watched them yesterday when the Dolphins got on top, right? They had a lot of the football. They had a lot of football deep inside Penrith's end. But they just kept, their defensive line kept moving. They kept making their tackles. They saved so many sort of try-scoring opportunities on their try line. And then they get the ball, they run hard, they make their meters, and they kick long and they get on the kick chase. That's where I think that they've got an advantage over most clubs in this competition, is their superior fitness. Their superior fitness, their belief in their game plan. And like you said, they're missing 5 State of Origin players, well, including Nathan Cleary, who's currently injured. But the next man in, they just slip straight into that game plan. They know exactly what role they need to play for the footy side, and they go and do it.